Name is David Araújo, and I'm here to share my opinion and information about President Harry S. Truman and his decision of using nuclear weapons against Japan during World War II. So, what was happening during the end of World War II? During the time, the Allied forces had taken control over Berlin, mainly through US and Soviet Union forces. At the same time, Japan was fighting hard for their position and showing no signs of surrender in the Pacific area. As a result, tensions between the USA and Japan had increased. Therefore, the last step to finish World War II was to make Japan surrender and control future fightings. This situation created the conditions that led Harry S. Truman consider the using of the atomic bomb to end the war. But who was Harry S. Truman? Truman was the 33rd president of the US who took office near the end of World War II as a result of Roosevelt's death. Truman was facing internal pressure as war goes more expensive and external pressure as Japan increased the number of attacks. Also, Truman was the first president to have formal access to nuclear weapons. So, what is a nuclear weapon? Nuclear weapons are the ultimate form of mass destruction developed by humans. They have the capability of destroying entire cities and affecting millions at the same time. As example of how powerful it is, Japan lost nearly 300,000 people in the Hiroshima and Nagasaki attacks and had their population contaminated by radiation from the explosion, resulting in a total of more than 1 million people affected. So the real question is, can something this destructive ever be justified? Several factors were considered at the time, and there were arguments both and against using the bomb. On one hand, the US had invested a lot of money, and the nuclear bomb could end the war quickly and show military power, resulting in saving time and money while showing the Soviet Union military dominance. On the other hand, Japan was already weakened, since Germany had surrendered. So using the bomb would cause massive destruction and raise fears of future nuclear wars for a country that was already struggling. So Truman had to decide between ending the war quickly, even if it meant killing hundreds of thousands of Japanese, or continue the war which would cost more Americans' life, time, and money with no clear end. According to the White House press release, Truman justified the bomb by stating it was necessary to completely destroy Japan's ability to continue the war. However, historian Barton Bernstein argued that the decision also involved targeting civilians and raised ethical concerns about whether it was fully justified. Since this decision wasn't easy, opinions diverged. Paul Fusfo, a World War II soldier, believed that the bomb saved lives by avoiding a dangerous invasion of Japan. However, Gar Alfasad, an American historian, argued the bombs were used to intimidate the Soviet Union, not just to end the war quickly. Since both interpretations are influenced by bias, it's worth understanding them as well. Fusco's opinion was heavily influenced by his personal experience in the war, which made him want to end it quickly. On the other hand, Gar Alsophoz studied the war rather than experienced it like Paul, so he has a more analytical perspective. In both cases, their opinions are valid and consistent with the message they want to share. Paul wants to bring the war close to the reader, while Gar wants to analyze the variables during that time while bringing a clear understanding about the situation. Now, moving to my opinion, in my opinion, the bomb have to be used to end the war quickly since nuclear power, Japanese resistance, and Soviet Union rising influence increased the uncertainty of the future until a point that the war could extend out of US control. So taking the opportunity to end the war saved potentially more lives than let it continue. My opinion was influenced by both Paul and Gar. Paul showed me real life experience of a soldier and how war looks from someone who lived it. Gar showed me that war consists of hundreds of variables that aren't entirely controllable, leading me to believe that ending a war wasn't always as easy as dropping a bomb, therefore turning the US situation a rare opportunity. So while the atomic bomb caused massive destruction, I believe it was a necessary decision to end the war quickly and prevent even greater loss of lives. Those are my sources. Have a great day.